Have you ever lost someone you deeply cared about, even if your relationship with them was complicated? It's a tough experience, one that tests our character and our capacity for grace. Today, we're diving into one of the most powerful and moving stories of grief and honor in history, David's lament for Saul and Jonathan. This isn't just an ancient poem, it's a profound lesson in leadership, loyalty, and what it truly means to have integrity, even when it's hard. So, let's set the scene. David, the future king of Israel, has just received devastating news. King Saul, the man who had relentlessly hunted him and tried to kill him for years, is dead. And with him, Saul's son Jonathan, who was not just a prince but David's closest friend, his soulmate in a way. Imagine the whirlwind of emotions David must have felt. Relief, maybe vengeance, not at all. Instead, David tears his clothes, weeps, and fasts. His response is one of profound, gut-wrenching sorrow. This leads him to compose an elegy, a song of mourning known as the Song of the Bow. He doesn't just keep this song to himself. He commands that it be taught to all the people of Judah. He wants the entire nation to remember and honor these fallen leaders. This single act tells us so much about David's character. Instead of using Saul's death as a political opportunity to seize power, he uses it as a moment to unite the nation in shared grief. Let's talk about Saul first. David's relationship with Saul was anything but simple. Saul was the anointed king, but he was also plagued by jealousy and paranoia, viewing David as a threat to his throne. He made David's life a living nightmare, forcing him to live as a fugitive. It would have been so easy for David to say, "Good riddance." He could have painted Saul as a villain and himself as the triumphant hero, but he doesn't. In his lament, David doesn't mention any of the persecution, the spear-throwing incidents, or the years spent on the run. Instead, he focuses on Saul's strengths. He praises Saul as one of the mighty. He remembers Saul's valor in battle, how his sword never returned empty. David chooses to honor the office of the king and the man God had anointed, separating the man's failings from his God-given position. This is an incredible display of respect for authority and a powerful lesson in forgiveness. David understood that honoring Saul wasn't about condoning his mistakes. It was about respecting God's choice and showing grace. He shows us that true strength isn't about holding grudges, but about having the magnanimity to see the good in others, even our rivals. By publicly mourning his predecessor and former enemy, David demonstrates a level of maturity and integrity that solidifies his own claim to leadership. He isn't a usurper gloating over a rival's downfall. He is a compassionate leader who feels the weight of the nation's loss. This act of public mourning wasn't just a personal expression of grief. It was a brilliant political move, whether intentional or not. It showed the people, especially those loyal to Saul, that David was not a man driven by ambition or revenge, but by a genuine love for his nation and a deep respect for its leaders. It was a masterclass in fostering unity during a fragile period of transition. Now, let's turn to Jonathan. If David's grief for Saul is a lesson in respect and forgiveness, his grief for Jonathan is a portrait of profound love and friendship. The bond between David and Jonathan is one of the most beautiful and touching relationships in the entire Bible. They had a covenant between them, a deep, loyal friendship that defied all odds. Jonathan, the heir to the throne, recognized David's destiny and protected him from his own father, even at great personal risk. In the lament, David's sorrow for his friend is raw and palpable. He cries out, "I am distressed for you, my brother Jonathan. Very pleasant have you been to me. Your love to me was extraordinary, surpassing the love of women." This is an incredible statement. David is saying that the platonic covenantal love he shared with Jonathan was more profound and precious to him than any romantic love he had ever known. It speaks to the depth of their connection, a friendship built on mutual respect, loyalty, and shared faith. Their friendship transcended social norms and political rivalries. Jonathan should have seen David as his rival, but instead, he saw a kindred spirit. David in turn loved Jonathan with a fierce loyalty. The intensity of David's grief shows us just how significant and life-changing a truly meaningful friendship can be. It's a powerful reminder for all of us to cherish the Jonathans in our own lives. Those friends who stand by us, believe in us, and love us unconditionally. The recurring line in the elegy, "How the mighty have fallen," has echoed through centuries as a powerful expression of collective sorrow. It's not just about two men dying, it's about a nation losing its heroes. David captures the national tragedy of their loss. He doesn't just mourn his personal friend or his former king, he mourns for Israel. He calls on the daughters of Israel to weep for Saul, who clothed them in splendor. He's reminding the nation of the peace and prosperity they enjoyed under Saul's reign, despite his flaws. David's lament is a call for national remembrance. He wants to ensure that the legacy of Saul and Jonathan is not one of conflict and tragedy, but one of bravery, heroism, and sacrifice. They were swifter than eagles, stronger than lions, a symbol of Israel's glory. By focusing on their valor, David helps the nation process its grief and remember its leaders with honor. He's essentially saying, let's not define them by their worst moments, but remember them for their best. What does this story teach us about leadership today? It shows that great leaders are not those who are flawless, but those who can demonstrate vulnerability, empathy, and grace. David's ability to express such deep emotion doesn't make him weak, it makes him human and relatable. It shows he has a heart for his people and for justice. His actions provide a powerful model for anyone in a position of leadership. Honor those who came before you, even if you disagreed with them. Show respect even to your rivals. Prioritize unity over personal gain. David's lament is ultimately a story of reconciliation. It's about reconciling with a complicated past, forgiving a former enemy, and honoring the sacredness of human relationships. David could have easily rewritten history to make himself look better, but he chose the harder, more honorable path. He chose to remember Saul's strengths and to immortalize his friendship with Jonathan. He shows that true integrity lies in our ability to extend grace and honor, especially when it's least expected. This passage is a beautiful reminder of the complexities of life. Relationships are messy, people are flawed, but through it all, there is an opportunity for loyalty, forgiveness, and profound love. David's lament isn't just a sad song. It's a guide for how to navigate loss with integrity and how to lead with a heart full of grace. It challenges us to look at our own relationships, especially the difficult ones, and ask ourselves, can we find it in our hearts to honor the good, to forgive the bad, and to love with the loyalty of a David? The story of David, Saul, and Jonathan isn't just ancient history. It's a timeless reflection on the human condition. It reminds us of the pain of loss, the beauty of friendship, and the strength it takes to lead with both your head and your heart. So, the next time you face a conflict or a loss, remember David's song of the bow. Remember his choice to honor, to forgive, and to love, even in the face of immense pain. Thanks so much for watching today. If this story resonated with you, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what we can learn from David's example. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into these timeless stories. See you in the next video, and God bless.